Yo, it's your boy Check It with Rex, man, back with another episode, you feel me? So last episode, we talked about the topic of safe spaces, learning to manage our own safety. But I want to dive in just a little bit further, add another layer, another stepping stone to the foundation of growth that we're building together, right? And that brings me to the topic of this episode, building relationships and learning how to piece together connections that make up the different parts of our life. Kind of like what we're doing right now. We're building a connection and we're growing together. But before we connect the puzzle pieces of the episode, let's get into the y'all don't want this. Y'all don't want this smoke. Cause I'm bringing the burning question of the day. Burning question of the day. Feel me? The burning question of the day is, what's your definition of connection, right? And what's your process to piecing together lifelong connections? Are you more of an introvert or an extrovert? And do you personally struggle to build connections? This is the time where I give you as the audience, the chance to reflect, because this is a podcast of peace, interaction, and collectiveness, where we reflect, but we don't deflect, and we inflate, but we don't deflate. You feel me? So I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all think about the question, and I'm gonna let that music play. So Dino family, let me know in the comments down below, what's your process to building connections? So let me go ahead and hop into fun. Y'all know I like to put my 2 cents in the coin slot to bank a collective reflection where I relate my story to the context of the question. And at this point, this is my 5th episode, right? I put in 8 coins in the slot, man. Bank keep going up, it's going up. So when I think of the definition of the word connection, the first thing that comes to my mind is the word bond. A bond that is built over time. When you bond with a person, you've then only just started to connect with them, and it only gets stronger from there. I like to think of it like a foundation, starting from the root, which could be something small you bonded over, but as you continue to get to know them, you begin to add those layers of trust, vulnerability, love, support, honesty, and lastly, loyalty. You can build over time just by using the tools of openness, being open, communicating with them, and being consistent. Consistently getting to know somebody. Those are great tools in building connection. And that's what a connection means to me. So there are 4 different types of connections I want to discuss. There's connection to self, connection to others, connections to the world around us, and connection to something greater. And honestly, building connections is a lifelong process, right? You never fully get it down. You're always still working to build connections. And so my process for piecing together these different connections, it's still a work in progress, but I feel like it forms in a unique way. And I want to start with the first connection to self. And I build a connection within myself by feeding my soul with positivity, understanding who I am, what I like, what I dislike, and what I want to achieve in this lifetime. Some ways I connect with myself is time. Just spending time with myself where I sit in isolation, come up with my own thoughts, my own ideas, and develop my own personal character and understand how I want my story to develop. I think of it like filmmaking. For example, I have a short film I created called Halfway Concrete about a young man named Waylon who serves a decade in prison for armed robbery. And within the story, he gets transferred to a halfway house and ends up meeting someone that changes the trajectory of his life forever. When I was creating the story, I had to think of what Waylon likes, what Waylon dislikes, his motivations, his goals, and how he wanted to achieve them. And that's what you have to do with your personal story. You have to be the writer and director of your own story. And for a second, I want to go back to the part where I said feeding your soul with positivity. And what I meant by that is feeding your soul with things that are positive to your mind and your body, like working out, reading, absorbing knowledge, using the stuff that you learned and you read, applying it to your own personal life. This makes me think about social media. There's so much negativity on the internet. Sometimes it's good to just look up positive affirmations, just finding ways to really connect with yourself. And if you ever feeling low, come check it with your boy Rex, man. We speak positivity where we inflate and we don't deflate. I also think of meditation, right? Just sitting in isolation sometimes. Also journaling. I love to journal. I get to write down what I'm feeling, what my day was like, things that I liked, things that I disliked. Again, just really understanding yourself. It's just being in tune with your own emotions, being in tune with what you like, what you dislike, and learning how to be in a space where you can just love yourself, honor yourself, and know what's important for you and how you want to maneuver in this lifetime. Now, the second connection is connection to others. And if you're an introvert such as myself, then you know building connections can be a little bit challenging. But I really want to hone in and discuss some of the ways that I have personally built connections and what's helped to me. So I personally divide this connection into four categories, which is friends, family, romance, and career. And my process for building these connections is similar to my previous. I use these stepping stones to build the foundation, which is connection to others. And I do this by using intention, effort, consistency, good communication, loyalty, love, vulnerability, and trust. Whether you require friendships, whether you require family bonds, network connections, these are stepping stones to keeping a solid foundation. So think about it. You have to be able to communicate with people. People need to be able to trust you. You and them have to be intentional with building the connection. Consistency, you have to be consistent to keep the connection stable. And then loyal. You want to make sure that people know that you're loyal. So that way they don't feel like you're trying to undermine them or use them. So again, those are stepping stones and continue to add on to the foundation of what a connection is. And now moving into the third connection, which is connection to the world around us. And that can include our hobbies, nature, or fighting for a specific cause. So for me personally, I connect with the world around me just by doing research, trying to find ways to help my community strive. Some hobbies that I partake in is working out, reading, watching films, and playing video games. I just love being able to engage and being able to connect with the world around me. Working out makes me feel alive. It makes me feel more engaged and active in my lifestyle. I love reading because I love absorbing knowledge, being able to get inspiration from my own creation. Same thing with filmmaking. You know, being able to watch films gives me inspiration for what shot compositions I want throughout my films. It's funny how connecting with the world around me is allowing me to connect with myself in different ways. And the final connection I want to discuss with you all is a connection to something greater. And this can mean a sense of purpose or religion, right? So, for example, I connect with God and Jesus through reading my word, allowing the Holy Spirit to move and guide my daily life and decision making. See, God has given me a sense of purpose to create things that impact others in a positive light. Like my film I mentioned here earlier, Halfway Concrete. And this also makes me think about my series I'm working on, Burning Questions. They both discuss key themes of truth, transformation, growth, finding yourself, family, and community building. Again, tying it all to the different type of connections we've discussed. Connection to self, connection to others, connection to the world around us. And lastly, finding your voice within that space. And if y'all are interested, I'll leave my link to my YouTube channel in the comments below. Check it with your boy Rex, man. And you know what's funny? When I think about a connection, I think of it like a puzzle. You have all these pieces you're connecting that make up your life, which is the puzzle. Let's pivot to my favorite segment of the podcast, Lucid Madness. Now, y'all know how this go. I need y'all to close your eyes and follow along with me as we embark on this journey of lucid madness together. Imagine, what if building connections was this easy process that didn't need consistent time and effort? Would people begin to lose value in connections because it doesn't take time and hard work? What if building connections didn't feel stressful? Or where you felt pressure because of societal standards to make a connection? Would people be less reluctant to being antisocial, open their mind to connecting? What if safe spaces felt more available to people? Would people be less introverted? Will we have a new generation of people who are more extroverted? So y'all, for this episode, I want to do something a little bit differently. Remember how in episode 2, I said I would have side segments? Well, just know that time is here. Because we bringing in the new segment, Cash in the Check. This is the segment where we take the coins of knowledge we gathered from the episode, and we cash them in, and we play a game, cash in the check. So in this episode's game, we're gonna play a game of trivia, test y'all knowledge, see if y'all been checking in with your boy Rex. So I need y'all to really listen up, you feel me? And in this trivia, my questions are gonna be based on my previous episodes and a question from my newsletter. So if you haven't listened to my other episodes or checked out my newsletter, I want you to pause this clip right now and go back and listen to them so you can answer these questions. So, question number 1. What state am I from? Choice A, Indiana. Choice B, Georgia. Choice C, Florida. And choice D, Mississippi. Which state y'all think I'm from? Now my second question. What is the title of my last podcast episode? Moving into safety? Defining black love across the world? Isolation has a beautiful presence, or overcoming monsters of stress and anxiety? Question number 3. What was the analogy I gave for the word connection in this episode? Was it foundation? Choice A. Choice B, refugee. Choice C, college. Or choice D, safety team. Fourth question. What's my favorite segment of the podcast? Now y'all should know this one. I said this in every episode. Choice A, burning question of the day. Choice B, concrete thinking. Choice C, cash in the check. Or choice D, lucid madness. Question number 5. What was the title of the film I mentioned in this episode? Choice A, Halfway Concrete. Choice B, Sinners. Choice C, Black Panther. Or choice D, Dead Virtues. And question number 6. What topic did I cover in my first episode? Choice A, stress and anxiety. Choice B, physical health. Choice C, safe spaces. Or choice D, love. And the final question, question number 7. What title did I mention I was going to create for my final episode of the season? And what number is the final episode? Now, I mentioned this in a specific episode, that there was going to be a specific title, and it was going to be for my last episode of the season, season 1. So we have choice A, Era of Confidence, episode 10. Choice B, Moving into Safety, episode 15. Choice C, Lost But Found, episode 20. And choice D, Safeguarding Your Physical Health, episode 12. So how y'all think y'all did? Let me know in the comments down below, and I'll put the answers to the questions in the next episode. Now I want to pivot to the last segment of the podcast, concrete thinking. This is where we discuss what we've learned from the episode. So I've given you all the materials to make concrete, to be concrete in our thinking. I've given you the water, the sand, the gravel. And so now we're going to take these materials, mix them together, and now we've become concrete in our thinking from what we've learned throughout the episode. So check it. In this episode, we discussed the 4 connections: connection to self, connection to others, connection to the world around us, and connection to something greater. And remember, I used the analogy of building a foundation, in that a connection has multiple layers, and you start from the beginning. And when you use those tools of openness, communication, consistency, then you're able to build those layers of trust, love, loyalty, and honesty. And that's how you build the foundation to make it strong and firm. Connections have unique ways of forming and can be very challenging to piece together. But when you find the right pieces, they connect perfectly like a puzzle. Thank y'all again for listening to another episode of Check It with Rex. I got a lot more coming soon. I'm streaming on Amazon Audible, iHeartRadio, YouTube, Spotify, and soon to be on Apple Podcasts. Please like, share, subscribe, and leave a review on the podcast for your boy. It really helps me out as a creator. So thank you so much for listening. Stay tuned, stay inspired, and stay blessed. And I'll see y'all next time.